Hello, Internet, and welcome to episode 163 of Verbal Graffiti with your host, Brian Glass, aka the B-Man, the People's Degenerate. Been thinking, been pondering, been bemusing what it is I want to discuss to open this episode 163, and I've decided we need to go back to our roots. And any of you who are fans of Verbal Graffiti know that our roots tend to be intertwined with the Hub and OF. Now, I've never subscribed to anybody's OF, but it certainly hasn't precluded me from giving my opinion about it. But I do spend a lot of time on the Hub and also on SXYPRN.com. They have the full-length videos that the Hub doesn't give you. So check that out if you want to, see full scenes. But not so much. We'll get to the Hub. And I spend a lot of time on the Hub. The reason being is I'm not getting any right now. There are a lot of creators on YouTube, at least on my algorithm now, that are talking about being virgins, never having a girlfriend and or boyfriend, or never being in love. Now, I'm not a virgin. Have I had a girlfriend? I had one in college. I've had a lot of short-term, like few month situationships, if that's what you want to call them, one-night stands. Not necessarily one night where like, hey, we bang it out and then never speak, but we bang it out, text a little bit, talk a little bit, and it fades. And we bang once. The B-Man, we intertwine once. A few friends of mine where girlfriends, we've done it. And I'm trying to avoid the words in the opening so that I'll get the views. Because if you say the entire Hub word, they dock you on the tube. But anyway, so, we're not getting any. And I haven't gotten any in it's been almost 2 years since the B-Man's gotten Mr. Perfect wet. Now there have been opportunities to have intercourse, and it's fine. I did finger pop a babe last fall, or maybe it was last winter, and I've had maybe 2 dates or 3 dates the last year. And there have been a couple of babes who have insinuated that they wanted to be with me, but they've kind of insisted that I take them out on a date, and I've refused to do so, just because I didn't want to be seen in public with these babes. It's not that they were ugly or even unattractive. It's just that I didn't want to spend my time with them. Like when I go out on a date, I like to show a babe off. She doesn't have to be beautiful in the eyes of the public, but she has to be beautiful in my eyes. Like if she's beautiful to me, I'll show her off, even if you don't think she's pretty. And she's got to be personality. She's got to have it all, right? Not all to me. The problem is, the B-Man, I have standards. So these girls who fall below my standards are like, hey, B-Man, not me. There might be, there might be, let's say, at least one, maybe 2 or 3, like total in the last 2 years. I'll be like, hey, if you take me out, if we spend time in public, we'll fuck, we'll get it on. And I've turned these babes down just because they fall below my standards of being in public. Now I would fuck them if they would come to my studio apartment, but I don't have enough riz to pull that game where we could fuck without the date. But so yeah, I'm on a nearly 2 year dry streak, which I'm okay with that. It's not great. It's not the best. I would like to get my dick wet. I certainly would, but it's also like I don't want to spend time with a babe just to get my dick wet. Like I'm past that age. I'm past that point in my life. I'd rather be doing stand-up comedy or working on videos or editing or coming up with ideas to make all of you laugh than just idly listening to a babe talk, pretending to be engaged with whatever it is she's spewing to me in an attempt to pull her panties off later that evening or later that morning. Now maybe I should have engaged. Maybe I should have taken, because 2 years is a long time. It's a long time not to get your dick wet, especially for Mr. Perfect, because I am a horny guy. But it's just, I just can't go through the dog and pony show of, yeah, go out, can we just fuck? And most babes are like, no, there needs to be more than just the fuck. But the reason why I bring this all up is because when you're not getting your dick wet, and you're horny, you tend to use the hub as a substitute. And you might be surprised to know this about the B-Man, but my porn viewing is very vanilla, especially with what everybody else seems to be looking at on the web. Honestly, I get off to just missionary. I like busty babes, mostly Latina, but I'll do white and Asian, and missionary where it's jiggling. And I need to see insertion. I need to see P and V jiggling, either missionary or doggy style. Like, I don't need any devices or any craziness. Just give me jiggling boobs, P and V that I can see, some moaning, and that's enough. That's enough for the B-Man. But one thing, or many things actually, but one thing I want to point out is that when you go on some of these sites other than the hub, like some of these other sites that are more difficult to get to, and like you need to be a porn guy to know these sites. When those other sites that you go on, there are a lot of things that are not vanilla. Let's say that there's a lot of like BDSM with where the babe will be tied up. And I have like so many guys around her, and like she'll be in a contraption where like she kind of looks like a hostage. Like, if you didn't know that this was a smut video, you see this babe all tied up and like a pieces of wood around her neck. And be like, whoa, is this a hostage situation? Like, you'd be almost surprised when you found out, oh, whoa, everyone's taking their penis out. This is a sexual activity. Like that. That's how extreme some of these videos get. But I do know that if you read the terms and engagements of the content creators on the Hub, ROF, or any of these sites, that, or at least on the internet, I don't know about the dark web, but because I don't know how to get there, but just a regular above board smut internet, there are some things you're not allowed to do. Two of which be drug use and or gun use, like firearms. So like you can watch like the most extreme smut you can find on the internet, but you'll notice if you pay attention that you'll never see cocaine, you'll never see any substances sniffed off a babe's butt crack and or any body part, which it bothers me because like that is part of culture today. If you're a partier and you're fucking, which the B-Man, I'm not really doing either of those right now. There will be some below sniffed off cleavage off a tit of a babe, whether it's a stripper or just a person you bring from a club or a friend of yours, or whatever it is. Like, that does happen. There are babes who lay out, and guys, and vice versa, and gays on gays and lesbians on lesbian who will do a line off their partner before or while engaging in intercourse. And the fact that that's not allowed via the Hub, I just wish it were allowed. But the other one is the one I do wish was allowed. Now, I've never owned a firearm. I am very pro Second Amendment. I'm pro Second Amendment, but I don't own a gun myself because I know myself too well. I drink alone and I have feelings. And you mix those two and a firearm, that's a deadly combination. So that's why I don't own a firearm. But I do find myself recently, I've been enamored with the idea of holding up a firearm to a babe's temple while making love together with her consent, of course, like gunplay. And I've never even held a gun, but if I were to, the first time I would do so, I would like to hold an empty chambered gun up to a babe's forehead while we're making love. And that's something that I want to see on the internet to see how it's done properly, because I don't really know how to do that. And nor do I have the partner to do it with, but I do find myself enamored with that kink, the gunplay, knife to the neck kink. I've never engaged in it, but it is something I would be interested in partaking in. And again, if I were to ever partake in gunplay, I would always make sure the gun is empty with no bullets, because, you know, when you're doing it, sometimes your emotions get the best of you and things get slippery and you might accidentally pop. And I don't want that. I don't want any mess. It's just weird. It's not weird, but it's frustrating that the hub and OF do not allow gunplay and drug use, because those are two kinks that are prevalent in the real world. And the fact that it's not allowed on those sites, it's a shortcoming of the two of them, the hub and OF and all the others. And I wish it were allowed to be seen on the internet and those creators could engage in that type of kink activity. Well, that was a very weird opening. That was a very strange opening, but it was open. It certainly was open. I was open with all of you with that. Let's continue with this openness. That is going to be the theme of this episode 163. This comes from the subreddit, Naked Male Bonding. Have you ever done any of that? What's it like to camp and dance with hundreds of naked guys? Time to try gay naked camping. And we got a photo of 4 naked gentlemen dressed as mermaids, naked mermaid men. Okay. I want no part of this. And it has nothing to do with all these guys being gay and the B-man being heterosexual. I'm cool with the gays doing whatever they want in the woods. But I'm actually gay or hetero or whatever your sexuality. Don't give a fuck. I'm anti-naked. That's probably going to surprise you more than anything. The B-man, I'm anti-nakedness. Like, I don't walk around my house naked, and that has nothing to do with my mother being here and me being in her house or my studio apartment. Like, I've never been a guy to walk around naked in my living conditions. When you're youngest of 5 and you grow up in a household with 4 siblings, 2 parents, and a bunch of people, you just learn to always be clothed. Being naked, it was never part of my upbringing. So I'm always from shower, I put my towel on. I'm not walking naked all willy-nilly, which it's a bit of an oxymoron, because many of you may know this, because I believe I have mentioned it before, though. The B-man, I am of the belief that you cannot be my friend unless we've both seen each other naked in the nude. That is how you become a true friend of the B-man. And I've held that belief since high school. And yeah, so if you haven't seen me naked or I haven't seen you naked, I don't consider you a true, real friend. I'll be friendly, I'll be friends, but we are not real friends. So in that regard, I'm pro nakedness for the friendship, but in my living conditions and with strangers, I am not the one who's going to get naked first. That is just not my. I kind of get the heebie-jeebies with all male only environments. All right, like, especially in the woods. Like, after reading Deliverance, like I've learned that nakedness plus wilderness equals getting penetrated against your will. And I want no part of that. I just, like, honestly, like, you give me the option. All right, there's a camp full of hundreds of gay men dressed like mermaids. There's that camp, or you could go to a concentration camp. I'll go on the train to Auschwitz. Like, that's just, I'll risk it there. There's something about a bunch of naked guys. At least at Auschwitz, there's some babes, right? At least we can mingle with them. But just guy only environments, naked or not, or all clothed. Yeah, it just gives me the heebie-jeebies. I've just never felt comfortable. Like, there have been so many times in my life where I've gone to a VFW hall just for a dinner or an event or a bachelor party, and where it's been men only. And in those environments, I always feel uncomfortable. Like, I find myself looking at the clock, like, how many more hours is this event? When can I leave? And it really goes back to my childhood. Like, even when the B-man was a little B-man, like lowercase B-boy. I'd be in elementary school playing basketball, and then, you'd see, we'd have practice, but then, like, in a hallway, you'd see, like, the Boy Scout groups. And I always found those boys to be strange, weirdos, peculiar. And even though I was playing basketball with a bunch of boys, just seeing a bunch of Boy Scouts dressed the same in the whole garb, and they have the father, and we knew that they all went out in the woods together to learn how to tie rope. And to me, it's like, man, there's just something like predatory about that. There's just something very, very strange about Boy Scouts that as a boy, I thought that was just strange. So maybe I've grown up with that ick against all guy gatherings. Just anything. Like, even when I have to go into a locker room, if you're at a gym or after basketball practice, I'm always a guy, like, I don't hang out in the locker room. I go in, I put the towel over my waist, I change my clothes, and I get out ASAP, as quickly as I can. Anytime I've been in a sauna or a steam room and I'm there by myself, I'm loving it. But anytime a guy comes in, a beer belly, sits down on the other side, immediately I get anxiety, and there's nothing comforting about the situation. Even if he's whatever, like reading a book or scrolling through his phone or not even making eye contact with me, just the knowledge that there's me and another guy, within dancing distance of each other, that's always made me feel uncomfortable. And that probably says more about me than all the other guys who are naked in the vicinity. But again, this is verbal graffiti. It's about the B-man. That's why I'm bringing this all up. So I'm not gay. So I don't think I'm the clientele for a gay camp out. But I'm not gonna RSVP to your 100+ man gay camp out. And honestly, like me, as a grown man, I've learned that there are several things that the B-man tries to keep away from Mr. Perfect, his penis. If you're new to the show, like Mr. Perfect, that's my penis. And as an adult, there are a few things I try to keep away from him at all times. 3 of which are gay men, mosquitoes, and poison ivy. So camping out in the woods with all of you naked is just, I'm not going to be there. Have fun. Tell me all about it when you get back on Monday. But I don't want to. I don't want to be around the bonfire midnight doing shots of fireball with 100 of naked men, hetero, straight, gay, whatever your sexuality is. I must confess, though, I am impressed with all that preamble out of the way. I am impressed if you are actually able to get 100 gay men to camp out with you for that event. Because I do know, doing stand-up comedy, although it's a completely different activity, like, it is difficult to get strangers to come to a comedy show. It is nearly impossible to get 50 strangers to a comedy show with a bunch of no-name comics. You do Eventbrite, put up posters around town, Facebook advertising, put some money into that, word of mouth, and if you exclude family and friends, it's almost impossible to get more than 25 people at a comedy show that's not like an actual comedy club. So the fact that you're able to get 100 plus people of the same, identity, gay men, and not only to show up, but to agree to show up in the nude for an entire weekend. Like, you're a marketing wizard. Whoever the promoter of this event is, if this is actually happening and he's able to pull it off, get 100 naked gay men for the weekend, like that is somebody. Whoever the promoter is of that event, everybody else who's in the event business should hire that promoter for their event. Whether it's a restaurant, a bar, a club, minor league baseball, a concert venue, any event where you need there's like a $10 entry fee to come in. The gay camp out promoter, that's the guy you want promoting your event, because he does numbies and he's got the numbies to prove it. So that's the guy who knows how to turn a profit, and you should be paying him double, triple, quadruple, whatever it is you're paying your promoter, because he'll get the naked asses in your seats. So I do admire that you're actually able to corral this many people to your camp out and have them, leave their clothing at home. So I tip of my penis to you, although I do not want my penis being shown, nor being the presence while the event is going down. I hope you understand. I stated my case as to why. Was it clear or not? I don't know. But I hope you do have a fun weekend, and don't drink too much around the fire, because you don't want to fall into a fire pit when you're naked. That's a burn you do not want on your penis. But hey, other than that, good for you, and let's go look at some photos. I'd be remiss. Is that the correct word? I'd be remiss if I didn't mention. I believe that's the right word, but I'm not certain. Well, let's go with it. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, in regards to the previous segment with the gay campers in the woods, naked. The one benefit, or one of the many benefits of being out in the woods, gay men only, is that you don't have to deal with white women. Because there's one thing we know about white women, is that they love to be anywhere where there is a rainbow flag planted and or posted in the window. The white women love gay men, and this is one of my things. I don't get why gay men tolerate white women. To me, that's a big red flag. Right? It says the guy who hasn't fucked in 2 years. But if you, by the way, not fucking for 2 years, yeah, does it make life a little stale? Do you get a little antsy? Yeah, you do. Do you goon a little too much? Yeah. Yeah, they're all the negatives, but there are some of the positives are, like, at least I'm sleeping alone. Which just might seem like an odd thing to say, but I'd rather, be sexless for a long stretch than have a partner that is not sexually attracted to me anymore. So I have to go to the bathroom to goon while she's sleeping, or try to initiate lovemaking, and she says she's tired or some bullshit or something with the kids. So at least I have that peace. There is a peace of mind when you're sexless, not... sexless in, I'm not choosing to be sexless. No one's choosing to have sex with me. But there's a peace of mind with that, knowing that, well, I'm alone at this current point. Like, it might change in the future. Hopefully it does. You never know. Like my sex life's kind of like a meteor. Like, sometimes it comes. It might not come for another 7 years. But to be sexless with a partner, that is a situation I don't think I'd be able to tolerate. I don't know how I would go about not tolerating that, but just having a wife or a girlfriend or a roommate that you sleep with, you live with, and she finds you sexually repulsive, and just avoids lovemaking at any cost, or just lies to you so that you don't insert yourself into her, that would be all I would think about, and that would cause a lot of strife in my life. Not getting your dick wet while you're alone, there's something peaceful about it. It's not a peace that you enjoy, but it's peace, if you get what I'm saying. And maybe you do, maybe you don't. I don't know. I'm just talking out loud. But back to the gay man in the woods without the white women. Like I was saying, that's a big red flag for me. With if I'm fancying a white babe, like if she has a gay best friend, immediately I know that ain't gonna work, because there's something. I don't know what it is. The white babes who have the gay best friend, the way they talk to the gay best friend, it's almost like they use a gay man as for their amusement. It's almost like a caricature or a pet. They treat the gay man as more, and because when you talk about like marginalized groups, like the white woman, like she likes to think that she's like below men, but pussy, and especially white pussy, is atop the pyramid. They are the least marginalized groups of all the groups. So they like to latch, they being white babes, they like to latch on to a marginalized group and try to relate with them. And for some reason, white babes, they like to latch on to gay men. So being in the wood, this is a long way of saying, you gay men in the woods, camping out, guys only, naked, good for you. Getting away from those white babes who are trying to infest your gay bars and clubs and pride events and everything that's gay, the drag show, everything that your areas of enjoyment. And having to go out you shouldn't have to go out in the woods to be by yourselves without the white babes. So the fact that you're doing that, you shouldn't have to do that, but good for you for going out there and telling the white babes and all the other babes, nah, this is for the gay men. We're going to be naked out here. We're going to do whatever the fuck it is we do out there. So good for you, and good for me for not going out and taking a babe out that I'm really not that interested in just to get my dick wet. Like, good for me for not engaging in that. Like, no. I have standards. And my time is valuable. Maybe not as much as yours, but it's valuable enough where if I'm going to go out with you, like I actually have to enjoy your company and not just want to see your boobies jiggle. All right, moving along. The next Reddit post comes from the subreddit Theater. That's with an R-E, not E-R. Not which one. Do not know which one is grammatically correct. I'm sure some of you will let me know down in the comments. Kiddo is auditioning for Aladdin in Aladdin Junior summer camp. Unspoken rules? ? My 12-year-old desperately wants to be cast as Aladdin in his summer camp production of Aladdin Jr. He's practiced Proud of Your Boy, the callback song for Aladdin, endlessly. I'm not a theater person. I am hallucinating the existence of some sort of etiquette, unspoken rule that one shouldn't audition for a musical with a song from the role you're seeking. Is there a technique to finding the right audition song for the role you're seeking? Edit. Please stop reading into my comment about him wanting the role of Aladdin and lecturing me about it. This is not his first production, just his first serious attempt at a lead role. And he knows he is competing against other kids for the same role and probably won't get it. That said, it's a small group of summer camp kids aged 6 to 14, and there were probably only 3 or 4 kids max even auditioning for the role. His odds are decent and he's putting in the work, but he's excited either way. Smiley emoji. Well, first we have to address these Debbie Downers on Reddit telling you that your 12-year-old boy should not go out for the lead role of Aladdin. Now, who are these Debbie Downers? Who are these wet blankets? They don't know your son. They don't know what his voice sounds like. They don't know his ability to surf on a flying blanket, that blanket that Aladdin has. Like, we don't know who your son is, right? Like, we don't know his talents, and neither does anybody else on the internet. So for anybody coming at you and telling you your son shouldn't go out for the lead role of Aladdin, as a 12-year-old, Aladdin Jr., tell them to shut the fuck up and mind your own fucking business. Like, nobody should be coming at you telling your kid not to dream for the lead role of Aladdin. Like, what are we doing? Like, we're not going to allow a 12-year-old to go out for the lead role of a play after he's put in all the work, singing the songs. Like, what's the point of having children? What is the point of life at that point? I mean, at that point, we might as well bring back child labor if we're going to tell every 12-year-old not to go out for the lead role because he might not get it. Like you said, there's only 3 or 4 people, auditioning for the role. Clearly, your son is singing all these show tunes, so good for him. I say, fuck all the noise. Tell your son to go out for the lead role exactly as he's going to do. And personally, the B-Man and all of us here at Verbal Graffiti hopes that your son gets the lead role of Aladdin Jr. Now, oddly enough, I'm very passionate about this topic, and even though I've never done theater, I look down on improv, but I've never looked down on drama productions, theater, high school plays, all that. I have a lot of passion because when I was in kindergarten, I spent 3 years in kindergarten. My last year at kindergarten, we had a production. We put on a school play for Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. And guess who did not get passed or cast as one of the 7 dwarfs? That's right, the B-Man. I got cast as a tree with no speaking role. I was one of the very few people in the class who did not have a speaking role in Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs. So we had the production during the day. Everybody's parents came to watch the production, Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs, including my parents. So my parents left work to come watch me, their little B-boy, go like this for 45 minutes. I pretended to be a tree swaying in the wind for 45 minutes as every other kid in kindergarten got a speaking role. You know who's still bitter about that? Me. I'm bitter about that. And you know who's to be more bitter about that? My parents. The fact that our kindergarten teacher made them leave work early to watch me pretend to be a tree. Yeah, they should be bitter too, and I'm bitter about it to this day. So I tell your son, go for that lead role, because being a tree and not being able to speak is miserable. And I've been living with that the last 35 years. And I don't want your son to have to live like that. So yeah, practice those show tunes and get that lead role and get some speaking roles in the play so that you're not living with that anger the rest of your life. Now, that's enough about the B-Man. About your son, there's one more aspect to the audition that might be the most important variable with the entire play, and that is Princess Jasmine. Who is auditioning for the role of Princess Jasmine? Is that the question you have to ask yourself as a mom or as a father of your 12-year-old? Is Princess Jasmine somebody your son would be interested in finger popping? Right? Because the thing you want most as a parent are cute grandchildren. So that's why you need to start asking this question when your son is 12. See, if the girls going out are going out to audition as Princess Jasmine, if they're cute, if they're little hotties, if they're little babes, and you think that's somebody your son is worthy of finger popping, absolutely, you want your son being Aladdin. But if the girls going out for Princess Jasmine and the girl who gets cast as Princess Jasmine has a lazy eye and webbed toes, that's not somebody you want your son prancing around with behind the curtains while they're setting up the theater. You want your son getting accustomed to finger popping hot girls at the age of 12. That way, that when he does have children, hopefully not at 12, but a decade or 2 decades from now, generally speaking, the boys who finger pop hot girls in school end up marrying and having children with hot adults. So you want him starting with a hot babe instead of an ugly babe. That bodes well for your future and your grandchildren. So that is the most important factor, variable in this play is how cute is the girl that's going to be cast as Princess Jasmine? Because if she's cute and pretty as a 12-year-old, a 12 to 12-year-old, I don't care about what she looks like. It's not my family. We're all about being barely legal here and above. But you want your son to get used to being around and practicing with other cute girls, so that he's comfortable around hot babes when he gets to high school and college and beyond. So that's something you might not want to bring this up with your son, but you want to be thinking about it and paying attention to all the other girls that are going out for the role. Also, in addition, I want to thank you, mom of this 12-year-old. I want to thank you for bringing it to my attention that when you audition for a play, you're not supposed to sing the songs that are going to be in the play. I did not know that was a rule. I've never auditioned for a play. And I guarantee you, if I was auditioning for Aladdin, I would go into the audition singing, what's that song? It's a Lonely World, whatever the Aladdin song is, I'd be singing it. I would not be singing a different song. So thank you. I tip on my penis to you, the mother, for letting me know about that unspoken rule when it comes to auditioning for plays. But to everybody else, till next time, go suck a fat one.